Hello and welcome to another episode of Evening Crypto with your boy, the Real Shot 256, bringing you another episode of Evening Crypto. Thanks for joining. Hopefully, you joined earlier today during our afternoon, actually noonish video where we discussed this very story right here, right now in front of your eyes, live crypto blockchain hearing at U.S. Senate Banking Committee, where lawmakers got together and had a hearing about blockchain technology and kind of trying to assess where they're going to move forward, going from here. And we went over the transcript of that meeting. Pretty much read the whole thing during that video. So if you want to go back and actually go back into our channel and go back one video, it is the video just prior to this one here, and you guys can definitely look into that if you don't feel like going uh, to the website and actually reading the transcript itself. Then I would suggest go ahead and take a look at that video that I did earlier today. Also in the news today, Coinbase Pro to begin supporting Tezos in August, so coming pretty soon, and also Tezos having a nice reaction to the news, and also a very nifty play on Tezos, since it's only trading on a very few set of exchanges. Um, one of those not being not being a Binance, and just playing it pretty smart in my opinion, because they have avoided the dreaded um, the dreaded pay to play theme that's been going on in cryptocurrency exchanges, where they have to pay a listing fee. Binance does offer sort of like, in some cases, a market making um, uh, feature along with some of these listings, where they do provide a little bit of liquidity onto the market, along with some instant fame by just the news of any given project being listed on Binance, right? Automatically gives you the stamp of approval, gives you the legitimacy that some of these projects are looking for, because they are being traded in a major exchange such as Binance, and it also, as a consequence, does lead to more trading volume, more people adopting it, um, and just overall, an increase in their market cap. Which leads me to the next point that I've been wanting to make, and you guys know that I'm not a fan of the whole altcoin summer theme. I've told you guys how that is something that you should run away from, in my opinion, because we've seen that with the recent price action in the last few months, where Bitcoin has been going on this parabolic run, and we just don't see the altcoins following as much as like we did in 2017. And then when Bitcoin does retrace, then we see the altcoins retracing even harder than we do see with Bitcoin. So it's just squeezing the life that's left on a lot of these altcoins. I'll refrain from calling them shitcoins. You know the drill. You know how the community feels about some of these coins. Um, so yeah, you guys know I'm not a big fan of that, and so now that Binance is moving away from U.S. markets, that is all also going to majorly impact a lot of these altcoins, because a lot of the volume, about 15% of the worldwide um, trading volume, comes from US based customers. So, just think about that: 15% of trading volume and liquidity exiting a lot of these altcoins that are being traded, and most of them are going to be impacted by it, since the US based Binance exchange, which again will not be operated, will not be under the same tutelage as the Binance that we all know and love. from CZ and his team, none of the team at Binance will be also, none of those folks will be managing or running the US based Binance exchange. So hopefully you know that by now, and you know what to expect. So, if you are still thinking that, the altcoin summer is coming, and, we're about to turn the corner, we can't go any lower, I would encourage you to rethink again your strategy, and maybe move some of that money into Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Litecoin, some of the big cap players who will remain relevant, who will keep that same volume from US customers, because those are the blue chip, if you will, type of cryptocurrency projects that will remain, pretty liquid, to put it in one way, right? So enough of that. Let's get into the analysis of the market. We're currently trading at 267 billion. Not a whole lot of action going on. I mean, just kind of staying stagnant here for the most part. And about $45 billion in the last 24-hour trading volume. We're about 17% roughly, in comparison between the daily volume and the total market cap, which again, that I have told you guys that that's usually an indicator for me as to where things might be headed. As long as we don't tick into or below the 15% um, trading percentage on the daily side, then we can say that we're cutting it close, but not quite, right? Nothing to worry about yet, but just want to make you aware of something that I'm paying attention to, because again, anytime we dip below 15% trading volume 24 hours, it does tend to lead to a move to the downside. We do see Bitcoin dominance at 64.5%. It has ticked below from the high of 66.5 roughly about a week ago, and that sparked up some unfounded um, hysteria in the altcoin summer believers, that just because we had a drop of 2% in Bitcoin dominance in the last week or so, that that is going to be the catalyst to start the run that a lot of you have been waiting for, a lot of you altcoin believers. And I'm not putting everything under one basket. I'm not saying that all altcoins are shit coins. I mean, there's a very small amount, in my opinion, that will actually make it through this rough patch. Even though Bitcoin does seem to have turned things around for the most part, I do think that altcoins are not out of the woods yet. Um, and so you're going to see a lot of projects being squeezed out of the market, being just completely obliterated in the next coming months, maybe into the beginning of the year. You're going to see a lot of these projects, just tail off into oblivion. So just play it very safe. As you know, cryptocurrency is a very risky market with low liquidity and high volatility. So definitely play your cards in a very smart way, or the smartest way that possible. Definitely do your research, and equip yourself with as many tools as you possibly can, so that you are successful in these markets. Hopefully, that serves as some good sound advice to you. Let's take a look at the charts. Currently, we are trading at around 96.67. We did have a recent close, as we usually, bring you that sort of piece of news. We did have a close of the daily above 9,500, 9,575, uh, to round things off. So 9,575, which, kind of leaves things where they are. I mean, nothing's really changed. I mean, look at these one, two, three, last four candles, including the current daily candle. If you look at those, I mean, there's really not a whole lot of movement, not a whole lot to talk about, except for this flash crash that happened here on the 28th, where it does lead me to my point that this is the reason why I don't believe in I don't believe in putting stops, or putting your stop losses on crypto exchanges, because this to me just looks like a fish out, right? If I would have put my my stop sell here, say at 9,200, if I and I told you guys too, I told you guys this, that I had entered into a trade around 9,400, high 9,300s. I actually put about 25% of my cash position and bought at those ranges. But then, if I would have, said, if I would have set my stop loss at around, call it 92 or 91.50, I would have gotten fished out, right? And it was a flash crash. Price immediately went right back up after that, and I would have been liquidated out of my position, um, and it just would have worked out against me. Instead, I don't set the stop loss. This gets bought up right away, and it so happened that this happened at very early hours of the morning here on the Pacific West Coast of the United States. So it would have been impossible for me to actually catch that. It would have been nice to buy the dip on the other hand. However, again, I was definitely asleep, and there's no way I could have done that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like to use stop losses in crypto. I would do them. I would use them in traditional markets, but I would not use them on these markets. Again, this one passed here. If you remember back, if you've been following the channel long enough, you'll know that for some reason, I decided to set a stop loss here, and I got fished out. That was the first time in a long time that I did that, and I got fished out. So, um, you know, again, just take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I'm just rambling here, but I'm just trying to help you guys, especially if you're new to the crypto markets, and you hear these things. I mean, it is pretty good advice to use stop losses. In my opinion, it's just not good practice to do it in crypto markets. Okay, so going on here, we do have the closure of this last daily above 95, which again it's propagating more of the same, not a whole lot of volatility except for this flash crash, but you can expect more of the same the next coming days. If we do start to move upwards, then let's bring out some of the targets that I have set for you guys on prior videos. If we start to move up above and start closing some 4-hour candles above 9600, which is coming in actually right where we're at right now. We start closing some 4-hour candles above that, then things start to look a little better. Not entirely better, not until we get to around 9800, 9850. We'll just call it 9850 here. Not until we get to this above this area is where I start to start paying more attention. This line will initially come in green, but let's switch it to red so it shows as resistance. I try to make that pretty clear for you guys. Red is for resistance, green is for support. So not until we get above the 9850 range is where I start again to reassess where we're at and start to think about maybe reaching up into these two areas here, these two immediate areas of resistance. If we break through those and get on top of this price range here around say 10,800, then things really do start to turn around for me, and then we'll be looking to test this area of major resistance right at the red resistance line here, coming in from this overall bull flag. In my opinion, this definitely looks like a descending channel bull flag type of formation. So we could come again, and then we have to take it step by step, right? If we break through these levels, then we start looking, but not until we break above this level here, this line of resistance, right around 10,600 is where we really start to look at this as a possibility. But prior to that, we're not really thinking. I'm thinking we're going to keep trading in this channel here, as you see here. This price action, once we got into this area here, this channel, we just been trading in and out of it. I'm sorry, within this channel. So not until we break either way, right? This is the more bullish scenario. given right now. Um, and then if we do, on the bearish case, if we do break down below this green line here coming in at 9,400, if we do start closing some significant candles like a 4 hour down here, then we start looking at, again, the more bearish case scenario where we might go in and, first of all, we're probably going to find support right around here. Switch that to green. We're likely to find support right around that area, around 8,900, low 9,000, high 8,000s. And if we do break that area again, then we're going to look for to fill the gap at 8,500 and just get it over with. As I've said in this channel, I am a fan of having this move now as opposed to later, because we do get to fill the gap now here at 8,500, which is a very significant gap. And we've just been lagging in the form of not going back there, not going down there and filling the gap so we can move on from this whole conversation about the gap. I know some of you are tired of it. I myself am tired of it. I want to see it filled so we can move forward, and I'll have to think about it in the future when Bitcoin maybe might be hitting $11,000 range again. The RSI on the daily is looking pretty flat, although we did get a tick, although we did get a cross to the upside here. Not a very convincing cross though. Not feeling too hot about this again. It just looks like more continuation here. Although I did mention in the video from earlier today that this seemed like a reaction, a good positive reaction to the news from the Senate committee hearing earlier today, and regulators just realizing that they should probably take this very, very carefully and not try to stifle innovation, not try to ban it. Although one of the regulators, his name escapes me right now, but one of the regulators that was very active in that hearing did say that trying to ban it would be absolutely worthless and would be pointless to do so, because this is a global movement, if you will, and again, trying to put a stop to it would be almost impossible. I have to say that I agree with that, and so we did have a little bit of a positive reaction to the outcome of that hearing, and we do see a little bit of continuation. But again, it just looks based on these factors here, based on these indicators, it just looks like we might be in for continuation of this boring trend within this channel, within this red and green lines here. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting here for the next couple of days. Let's take a look at another thing here. Let's move this away a little bit so we can actually put a little bit of a drawing here on the volume signature here. Once we get to about closer to this area here where we are going to fill this formation here, then I'm going to be looking for a move either up or down. I know that doesn't tell you much, but that's how these markets work, right? We're going to see a pinch here, and then things are going to blow up or just break down, right? And but again, so far, even though the RSI did have a cross to seemingly the upside, it's still within the neutral territory. Not making any convincing moves as of yet. And again, I do expect this to get filled out in the next few days and then finally see a move. I don't want to offer like a day or a time or anything like that, because I mean, this formation is almost 100% full here. So this pop could happen at any moment now that we are pretty filled on this. And also these candles here and the volume here are matching up pretty good. So the decline in volume just gives further validation that this is to be expected, right, for Bitcoin to be trading within this channel here, until we see a big bang somewhere within the next few days. Let's take a look at the moving averages. Let's get rid of these drawings and actually bring out my EMAs here. And you know, from this perspective, we also see the same thing, right? We see Bitcoin just trading between the 55 and the 89 exponential here, right? Just kind of what we've been talking about on the you know, on the support and resistance side of things. Same thing here. The 30 is coming in and acting as, you know, a suppressant here, and you know, we do see it here just rejecting off of the 30 simple there. So therefore, unless we break above it, we might come back and retest 9,800. But I mean, it's so far with this lackluster signature of volume here, I don't see that really, you know, happening 9,800 yet. I don't see it happening yet. Or you know what, you know, same thing could be said, because again, we're so close to filling this formation on the volume side here, that on the volume side here, we're so close to filling that in, that, you know, a breakout is not breakout or breakdown is not completely out of the question here. Let's get rid of this guy. Okay, so let's get rid of these again. Yeah, so but I do expect this to again, for the next couple of days, to keep trading in these regions here. If we do get above the 55 and close some significant candles there, then, you know, we start looking at the 21 for, you know, further continuation at 10,073. I'll tell you, I will, you know, go out and say that this does look like the more likely scenario, that we go up and test 10,000 in the next couple of days. Excuse me. In the next couple of days, we should be, you know, based on this, the good sentiment, and, you know, we're due for a good move. I mean, Bitcoin has just been consolidating on a downward trend here, but consolidation, it looks like, nonetheless. So again, I do expect a move pretty soon, within. Again, I don't want to give you guys a day or anything like that, because it could happen in a minute, or in an hour, or a week from now, right? But it does look like it, you know, it could potentially test the 55 here. Again, if we start closing some 4-hour candles above it, then we start looking again more to the upside, okay, with some corrections, some small corrections on the way up there. All right, let's look at the 4-hour real quick. And let's actually zoom in a bit. Right, so okay, let's zoom in a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, 4 hours looking better, way better than the daily. So again, this is more validation that we could come back, or that we can go and retest the 55 at 9,800 here on the 4-hour, and then come back and retest the 10,000 here with the 10 simple coming in here. And also, there's going to be convergence right above the $10,000 range, with several of our EMAs coming in convergence here and acting as resistance on the way up. We have the 10 simple, the 89 aqua, and the 200 simple as well here, all coming in convergence here. So again, expect, if we do get above the 55, expect a try to the $10,000 region. But on the first pass, on the first try, I do think that we are going to reject off of there. I do like what I'm seeing here on the RSI, breaking above the 21 EMA here, and with some definitely with some conviction here, and almost getting into the bearish control zone. But it looks like it got stopped there once it tried to break out and into the bullish area of the RSI, and then, you know, it looks like it just, you know, came to a dead stop there. As long as we don't turn back and flip around, actually have a cross to the downside on the RSI here, again, I'm hopeful, and it looks like that is the more likely scenario of the two. Call it a 60-40, if you will, split, where we could see Bitcoin again try the 55, and then the 10 simple around 10 grand, $10,000 mark again. Within the next couple of days, we can expect that. And then if we do see a tick and or across to the downside here on the RSI, come back and retest the 21 exponential here within the neutrals on the RSI, we could potentially, hopefully, have a bounce there and retry for 10 grand again after that. But again, as long as we're not above 94,000, or I'm sorry, 9,400, I remain on the more bullish side. And again, we are starting to get some separation from the 9,400 area, which can lead us to believe that, again, more confirmation that this move is more likely to happen and retest 9,800 to 10 grand. All right, let's look at the 3 hour. See how the 3 hour is looking. Let's get rid of these drawings again. 3 hour is also, RSI is looking pretty good. Looks like we did have like it wanted to come back and try the 21-1 twice and having a nice bounce off of it. And again, a lot of times these movements start showing on a smaller scale on the lower time frames. So sometimes you can see these moves building up. Like we did see on the hour, for example, we did see on the hourly when the death cross to the downside happened way before it happened on the 2 hour, way before it happened on the 2 hour, the 3 hour, the 4 hour. We did see it manifest itself in the 1 hour prior to anything else. So we did see it here, right around here we go, right here. We do see the death cross happening back in July 12th on the 1 hour, and then we do see it happening on the 2 hour. Let's find it here. Looks like it's coming in right here, and that was July 14th. And then we have the 3 hour. We do have the 3 hour happening July 16th, and then the 4 hour giving us the bad news right around July 22nd. So again, these moves can definitely start to manifest in the lower time frames, and it is to be expected because again, we are on a downward trend here on the more shorter term of things. But again, look for, sometimes you can look at those at the lower time frames to start plotting out, what might happen on the longer side of things. Again, the 3 hour coming back and retesting once, twice, bouncing off of it nicely. The 3 hour does look like it wants to continue to the upside, and then the 4 hour is telling us that if the 3 hour continues on that trend, then the 4 hour could translate to the 4 hour as well. The 2 hour, let's take a quick look and see how it is looking. Actually looking better than the 3 and 4 hour. It's now regained the 55. The 55 has served as a good point of reference, a pretty solid one here. Just Bitcoin staying below it for the most part on the 2 hour. Price actions just being suppressed by the 55 until we break above it here. But then, not too long after that, we do break it to the downside, and it's just been staying below the 55 for, the majority of this, for the majority of the build of this trend here. Let's call it from July 18th. For the last couple of weeks, the 55 has just been a good point of reference as far as like where price is and what's actually holding it down. The same thing could be said for the 89. So these two in conjunction can definitely serve as a good reference point. So the fact that we're now above the 55, feels pretty good on the 2 hour. However, we've lost it here a couple of times after regaining it, like right here. And to be fair, we did regain it here and had pretty good separation off of it. Came back and retested it again, regained a more bullish posture, and had some significant separation off the 55 to come back down though and retest it one more time. And for the last time, it stayed above it, but then lost it, and we've just been below it since around July 22nd for the last time. Actually, no, forget that. We regained it here on July 26th, just a few days ago, And but again, we've been just we've just been the price has just been suppressed by the 55 here. So I'm not holding too much weight on this here. Um, it does look like we opened and closed one 2 hour candle, and then we just opened up the last one here, right at the edge of the 55 there. So if we start closing some 2 hours above there, hopefully it will translate to the 3 and the 4 hour, which will translate again more confirmation that we are going to go and test the 9800 region and also the $10,000 region. All right, let's see. Lastly, let's just take take a quick look at the 1 hour. 1 hour is even looking better than 2 hour. Um, RSI though is telling us that it does want to come back and have a breather. I'm not too worried about what I'm seeing on the RSI here, although it did have a cross to the downside. It is in the neutral territory. It could come back and retest the 21 and then have a balanced positive reaction from there. But again, this could turn around at any moment, especially from what we're seeing on the 2, the 3, the 4 hour. So I'm not panicking here. If you entered a trade anywhere recently, I wouldn't be selling my position just yet until this isn't confirmation for me yet. This is not confirmation for me yet that we're going to go back and retest 9,400 again. Not quite. So I'm just telling you what I'd be doing, not financial advice, but I wouldn't let go of my position just yet. All right. So that's again on the 1 hour. Okay. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Oh, monthly. Yeah, almost forgot. Monthly, we're gonna get another monthly ticker here pretty darn soon here. Today's being the 30th in the West Coast US. So that means that we are going to get a new monthly here, and we're going to close on a red candle pretty likely, unless we can get above the $10,759 dollar range here with before the next tick in the monthly candle chart. Then I don't see us closing another green candle. It looks like we're going to close on a red, but I mean it's not a bad thing since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of green and positive price action. We are due again for a correction, and not a too hard, not a really harsh one at that, right? Although this month we did open this candle at we did open it at 10,759. That's where we opened it. Right here. So again, unless we go back and actually get to that price range, which again we have a lot of work to do before we can actually say that we're going back and retesting that. And another reason why we can't get bearish on it is, I mean, look at the separation between any of these moving averages here, right? Just, I mean, massive separation between the 21 and the 30. We really can't say that we're in a bear trend again until we see the monthly coming down and close a monthly, under the 21 and the 30 simple here, coming in around 5,900, which, I mean, it's just a very, very stretchy call to make at this point. I don't think I don't think that should be in the conversation as of right now. There's just too much in between, too many things that would have to happen before we actually get to those levels, and we actually can start shifting our mindset onto a more bearish case scenario. So that's, again, keep an eye for the monthly. That should close tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the RSI on the monthly still pretty darn bullish here. We have not regained, or we have not entered into the more bullish area here in the RSI, although we are looking like we want to do that. It does look like Bitcoin wants to actually break onto the bullish area on the RSI, which would be great because again, look at how far. Look at once we entered into a bull market, and here's a huge indicator too. Don't downplay this. Don't sleep on this. This is probably, if you get one thing out of this video, I want you to get this out of this video for Bitcoin going forward. Look at the last time we broke out of the 21 EMA on the RSI down here. Look at that. That was right around here. So right around middle of November is when we broke above the 21 here. Middle of November, that was 2015. Hopefully that starts to sink in because it's sinking in my mind. Middle of November 2015, right? When we saw this change in trend, major change in trend, and we entered into a confirmed bull market. We have just now in July crossed the 21 EMA on the RSI again. And not only that, look at where look at where the 21 is. It is actually a bit higher than it was back in 2015 when we crossed it. So Bitcoin had to do more work than it did back in 2015 to get above the 21 on the monthly, right? So again, this is another bullish sign on the monthly that we are just getting started with this bull market. And again, look at how long we remained on top of this. Put a measured move here. Put a measurement on it. Come on. All right, we'll start here. Until we lost it. Well, we'll just call it here. Close enough. Right. So we remained in the bullish side. We remained in the in a bullish market for 761 days. Right. That's how long this took. Once we got above the 21 EMA, once we got above the 21 EMA, we remained above it for 761 days. Right. So don't sleep on this. Don't underplay it. This could be huge. This could be very, very huge. If you're not subscribed, now is a good time to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Let them know why you're bullish on Bitcoin. And this is a perfect example as to why we should be bullish on Bitcoin and the crypto markets for excluding shitcoins, right? For the crypto markets, that this is a great reason why, why we should be optimistic. All right. So again, we just got this fresh cross above the 21 here on the RSI, and we could be heading for another 751 days of bullishness. But again, it didn't happen overnight. Look at these. Look at the price action here, right? Let's actually zoom in a bit, right? So again, we regained it back here. This is not going to work. Anyway, we lost it here. Right. So 751, and just look at the gradual increase here in price, right? And then 2017 is, we all know what happened in 2017. Huge, massive parabolic run on Bitcoin and everything else under the sun, under the crypto sun, I should say. All right. So I know we've done and spent a lot of times on these charts. So I'm only going to chart a couple more because this one does look pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right. Yeah, we did a lot of zooming in on Bitcoin there. But okay, if we take a look at um, this line of support here, we have to put a line on here. Get it together, buddy. All right, so that's our. Oh, I know I had drawn a trend line of support there. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is what's holding and keeping, in my opinion, Link alive here. If as long as we don't break this area here, we're gonna be okay. All right. And it looks like it wants to come back and retest the 21 here. This is the 4-hour. It looks like it wants to retest the 21 EMA here on the RSI, and it could potentially have a bounce, especially if we do see Bitcoin again running up and having a good reaction into the into $9,800, $10,000 range. We could see definitely Link having a follow through bounce from this 21 EMA here and come back and start retesting some of these areas at $2.46 would be the next area of interest to me. This would be a next area of resistance, 240. We'll just call it 245, and we are gonna paint it red so that you know that this is our next area of resistance. But again, that's what I'm looking for. Volume, same kind of thing that we see in Bitcoin here. We do see here that the volume has been in this decreasing trend, and so again we should see a bounce pretty soon again, because we are expecting a bounce with Bitcoin. So that would lead us to believe again that Chainlink does bounce along with it. Again, Chainlink just being one of the stronger players in the market for 2019. I don't see a reason to get bearish on it, especially again if we're holding on to this support line here at around $2 and what do we call this, $2.09. Yep. As long as we're there, we can't really, we can't say that we've completely abandoned this formation. If we do break that area, here's our next area of interest for support. Now, if we do break down above there, this is where I'd be looking for a bounce here. In fact, if we do bring the I should do this first. All over the place today, guys. Sorry about that. No, that's not what I want. Not what I want. Okay. Right. Here we go. All right, so let's look at the fib retracement tool. Point high to our lowest point here. See anything interesting there? Hopefully you are. So this would be, I don't think we're going to get to this level here. We might get stopped here at the simple 200. Looking at, I believe this is our daily. Yep, this is our daily. I do believe we might get stopped here if we do break this area, right? We're talking the more bearish case scenario here. I don't think we're going to come back just yet and retest this area, especially if Bitcoin does decide to go up. I do think again Link will follow, but we do have a couple more areas to break down below if we're going to do that. And we do have the 89 coming in here right below our first area of interest here as support with the $2.09, and then the 89 coming in at $1.95, and then we have the simple 200 coming in at $1.65 until we actually get to the 0.236 fib. But I mean, just look at these areas lining up with the fib retracement tool. So you got to think that these things are there for a reason, and these things do work, right? So hopefully hopefully you're getting something, out of this that makes sense to you as well. So again, I am looking for a bounce here. I think it's definitely overdue. We do have this line of resistance for, I've shown you guys what typically happens on one of these. We either get a breakdown or a breakout. And so we're definitely coming to that point where this whole, sense back here in, we've been in this downtrend formation since June 29th. So we're definitely due for a good shakeout or a good move to the upside, in my opinion, right? And come back and retest this prior high here, and then if it turns out to be a double top, then so be it. And then what happens after a double top. And then let's go to Ethereum real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've already spent a lot of time on these charts. We do see sort of a rejection here on the 21 EMA. And also the 30 simple here coming in, acting as resistance for Ethereum on the daily. And it does look like it would just, is going to be trading between the 200 EMA and the 10 simple here. The 30 just coming in as added pressure to the downside. So Ethereum, don't as with Bitcoin, don't look for any major moves with it until we see Bitcoin move one way or the other. And again, look for a breakout on Bitcoin first, and then the altcoins some of the altcoins to follow up on that. All right, but not looking too hot right now with Ethereum. Trading actually out of the three coins that we just charted, Ethereum looks the weakest at this point. Although, I mean, the RSI is, I don't like this. We see higher highs, but then, we don't see the corresponding price here. So this could be bearish divergence here between these spikes here on the RSI, 1, 2, 3. On the 4 hour, it does hold some weight against some significant weight. This is where I start paying attention. So if we do see Bitcoin stagnate for a while, this could actually end up on a move to the downside. We'll immediately retest 195. But usually when we do have significant bearish diversions, we're going to have a bigger retracement than what we see here at around 195. So this 195 area is our next support target. But again, when we see this, I am looking for a bigger move than that. Let's actually put a measurement on what that move would actually be. Would be about a 7, 8. We'll just round it up to 8% move. This is a significant area of support, so we'll just leave it at that. We'll just say that, if this turns out to be bearish divergence, then which the volume could also kind of coincide with that as well, kind of letting us know that we are on a downtrend on the volume side, staying underneath the volume exponential here. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't look good to me, guys. This looks very, very suspect. I do think that we could come back and retest this area again, especially if Bitcoin does not move to the upside or make a breakout run anytime soon. So I'd be staying off of Ethereum for the short period of time. Okay, not trying to tell you to dump your bags or don't ever look back with Ethereum. I'm just saying short term. You might just sell here and then buy at the support levels here, 196, 195. That's all I'm saying. Short time, thinking short time. All right. And then just to end it here, we did see Tezos being added to Coinbase Pro here beginning in August, which did have a very significant move. I believe it's XTZ USD. And Kraken is one of the few exchanges that's actually trading in Tezos. So since the news breaking out, it's gone up 25% almost. So very, very significant moves with Tezos after the news that it is going to be trading in Coinbase, and gotta give them a clap. They avoided the listing fees and what some of these other exchanges are charging to get on their platform. Again, there are some benefits that come along with being listed in Binance, for example, or Bitfinex, or actually it's already been listed in Bitfinex, but Binance or a like um, of the size of Binance, right? Because if Teslas were to pay for that funding or listing fee, then it would come with market. A lot of times, it would come with market making services where they provide a lot of liquidity. And overall, I mean, you have seen a lot of projects just burst into the scene out of nowhere by being added to Binance. So if you did catch this early on, good for you. Congratulations to you. I do think we are running out of steam here, though. Um, it's already tried twice so far, but this is where I'd be de-risking. If to full disclosure, I didn't get into this, but here's where I'd be looking to maybe de-risk here. If we do make a run for $1.30, then that's where I'd leave things off and then just um, exit my position with Tezos for the short time period, right? We could come back down and retest the simple 10 right here, and actually could have a bounce there. So I mean, this is not a bad place for you to start thinking, okay, de-risk, wait for like we did here. I mean, textbook, price action here, coming back down, retesting the 10 simple, actually bouncing up, being bought up immediately after that, and coming back and retesting this prior high on the shorter term of things, and then but then we're retesting it again. If we do break above it again, a retest of $1.30, and then from there, I'm done. I would be done with it for the shorter time of things. Look for a bounce again to the 10 simple, perhaps the 377 here, and or the 30 simple, which are coming pretty close together here. Um, if we do break the 10 simple here, then look for a bounce here at the 377 here. Short bounce. I don't expect it to actually go back and retest these. These sort of things do fade out. These sort of news do fade out on the very most part. There's a ton of examples out there. I'll go one. Um, what else? There's a couple other ones. IEOs, especially BTT. Look, there are several examples where we see them being listed on major exchanges or IEOs being listed, and we do see this sort of pump action, and then we start seeing a gradual dump here following after that. So be careful, be safe, and do your research. Make sure you know what you're getting into before doing that. So we'll wrap up here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of the technical analysis, the news, our take on things. Hopefully you got something of value in exchange for your time. And let us know if we missed anything. Leave it down in the comments. Would love to discuss further. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Definitely hit the like, subscribe, and share with whoever you think could benefit from this information. All right. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks.